Hi, this is Prashil and you're listening to the Equitymaster Stock Market Wrap-Up. In today's edition, I'll be taking you through what moved the markets over the week. So let's jump right in. Are the auto sector's woes set to worsen? We'll be taking a look at that. The Competition Commission clears LIC's 51% stake acquisition in IDBI Bank. Oil prices are in focus again as Saudi Arabia clocks in record production for the month. New IPOs are hitting the market soon. What's in store for the primary markets? Before we move on, a quick look at the broader markets. Asian and European share markets were cautiously optimistic after the US Fed Chairman Jerome Powell indicated a lower interest rate regime going forward. Back home, Indian indices remained volatile throughout the week and were driven by the results season. With the markets out of the way, let's look at the key stories in focus today. Vehicle sales failed to impress this festive season as consumer sentiment fell. According to a CRISIL report, registrations of vehicles in the domestic market during the 42-day festival season this year fell by as much as 11% year-on-year. Passenger vehicles displayed the sharpest decline of 14% in registrations. What's worrisome is that this normally is a period of peak season for new vehicle registrations in the country. Worse, the decline comes on the heels of sales contraction in the 3 months of July, August, and September. The trend mirrors the tightness in liquidity in the Indian economy over the last few months. Interest rates have hardened and insurance costs are up, and so are vehicle prices. All of this adds to costs of ownership, along with a big jump in fuel costs. Obviously, the strain on auto sales has taken a toll on the share prices of original equipment manufacturers. The BSE Auto Index shed 20% between July and end of October before recovering marginally this month. Some of the biggest passenger car, commercial vehicle and two-wheeler companies in India have seen a huge dent in valuations in recent times. While auto stocks have been out of favor recently, Tanushree Banerjee, the co-head of research here at Equitymaster, believes that this could be the opportunity long-term investors were waiting for. With crude oil prices on the downturn, it will be interesting to see how the Indian auto industry recovers from this slump. Speaking of crude oil prices, crude oil is under strong selling pressure depressed by record Saudi Arabian production, even as the kingdom tries to persuade other exporters to agree on output cuts ahead of an OPEC meeting next week. Saudi Arabia has raised oil production to an all-time high this month, pumping in 11.1 million to 11.3 million barrels per day. Oil prices have lost a third of their value since early October, weighed down by an emerging supply overhang and widespread financial market weakness. Now, energy importers like India will definitely benefit from this, while oil producers like Russia and Saudi Arabia will surely hurt. US President Donald Trump has put pressure on Saudi Arabia, OPEC's de facto leader, to not cut production. Traders are now awaiting the outcome of the Group of 20, that's the G20 meeting in Buenos Aires, Argentina, as well as the outcome of the OPEC meeting, which could steer the direction of oil prices going forward. Coming back home, the Competition Commission of India has acquired LIC's proposed acquisition of a 51% stake in IDBI Bank. Reportedly, the deal is going to help the insurance behemoth enter the banking space and will provide business synergies despite IDBI Bank's stressed balance sheet. The government had given its nod for LIC's proposed purchase of a 51% stake in the bank back in August 2018. Last month, LIC announced an open offer to buy a 26% stake from the shareholders of the bank. The open offer, wherein shares are to be acquired at a price of 61.73 rupees a piece, would commence from 3rd December. We at Equitymaster believe that the latest attempt to bail out the troubled IDBI Bank is a classic case of the state insurer buying toxic assets. Ask any average Indian investor about the next best thing after safe bank deposits. I can guarantee that they will tell you about LIC policies. For generations, Indians have treasured their LIC policies in their safe deposit boxes, just like their gold and fixed deposit receipts. Therefore, dumping IDBI Bank onto LIC is definitely not the best returns of the trust placed by LIC's policyholders. Our big picture expert Vivek Kaul has written an interesting piece on why he thinks LIC buying out IDBI Bank is a bad idea. You can log on to Equitymaster.com to read more. Moving on to news from the IPO space, 3 companies are set to come out with their IPOs in the next couple of months. Inventia Healthcare, Metropolis Healthcare, and Zelpmock Design and Technology have all received the regulator's approval for an IPO. This takes the total tally of approved IPOs to 73 this year. We'll be sure to keep an eye on these IPOs, and you can track the progress on our IPO page on Equitymaster.com. Well, that's all from us today. Before signing off, we would like to know if you like a podcast. Is there anything specific you want us to cover? We would love your feedback. Just visit Equitymaster.com and drop us a line. We look forward to hearing from you. Happy investing!